Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on this Sunday night. It's lovely to see you guys. Hope everybody is doing well. We are streaming live. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but we're at the Nashville Super Speedway this evening, taking in the Cracker Barrel 400 race, but that doesn't mean that we weren't going to do a little prime time tonight. We're just doing it from the Batmobile, from our lovely vehicle from Two Rivers Ford. Going to talk a little Titans tonight on the live stream, and you guys will have to chime in from the comment section, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Y'all know how this goes. Share the broadcast around. If you're spending some time, we're going to talk about Cam Ward and the progress that he's already making at OTAs, fast progress that he's already making at OTAs, and how much the Titans are seeing the early returns of the #1 overall pick. Share the show around Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You know the vibes. Twitter, retweet it in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you're hanging out on Facebook Live, you can share now to public. That's in the bottom left. And if you're on YouTube or Twitch, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tell a friend to do the same. And once you've done that, we'll go ahead and get things going on this beautiful Sunday night here in Middle Tennessee. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time, made possible by the wonderful people, Ross, at VIP Play. Download the app, plug in the promo code ATOZTN, bet $5, get $100 in bonus bets. Where the world comes to play, VIP Play is where you go. By TrueMath Fitness in the Gulch, TrueMathFitness.com. for your first workout free as a Middle Tennessee resident, and by the aforementioned Two Rivers Ford. We're currently broadcasting from my Two Rivers Ford vehicle right now, the South's most trusted Ford dealer, online at tworiversford.com for more details. Okay, so we're going to jump into the conversation tonight, and the conversation is, of course, about Cam Ward. The Titans are very happy with the progress that he's making, and there's already progress being made from rookie minicamp into the first week of OTAs. We'll have the second week of OTAs on Tuesday, and then we'll have mandatory minicamp the following week. The question for you guys is, who will benefit most from Cam Ward's presence? Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Ross is running the thing from back in the studio. He'll throw a few of your comments up on the screen for me, given that we're hanging out here and doing things remotely. Curtis says Callahan, which is a reasonable submission. Nick Holtz for Stephen Crozio. Big Jeff from Peter Ars. Well, it'd make Jeff's life a lot easier if he has a quarterback that can score. Calvin Ridley, no question, according to Randy Howard, and that is something that I think we have a video for here in just a second. So let's hear from Calvin Ridley. Actually, let's hear from Teron Davenport first and foremost, Ross, if we could. TD was on the 615 Sessions podcast on Friday. You can go check that out in the A to Z Sports Podcast Network, or you can go watch the live video or a replay of the live video on YouTube. And I asked TD, who played college football, so has better insight and analysis than the vast majority of Titans media, I would say, as to what to look for from these players at practice. I asked Teron specifically, what are you looking for from one practice to the next, from 1 week to the next? And TD laid it out pretty nicely.
What are you looking for from him at practice versus what we were able to see from him in his first time out at rookie minicamp?
I think the main thing was actually this time they're actually going against the defense. So that helps a lot as far as your evaluation, so to speak. But I wanted to continue to watch him, just the way he went to the huddle, uttered the play call, and how he took command of it. Because that's something that Dan Moore said that he felt he has that in him, right, to do that. So I wanted to see how that will work. I really like the way he's doing basically what he did at Miami and previously, Washington and Incarnate Word. That guy, he loves to attack the middle of the field, right? And you look at this NFL field, the hashes are closer. Guys obviously are faster. The holes are different, but he still was attacking, and he did a good job there. He likes to throw the seam route, the deep over. It was good to see him connect with Chimere DK on that, because that's something I think could be a nice opportunity to get chunk plays. DK, if you watch him in Florida, I mean, this dude, that 4.3 speed, that it showed on that, right? Running those deep overs. And you see Cam, he likes to make that throw. So I'm looking forward to that. And it was good to see those things. And then just watching him interaction with the players. I mean, after a part of not install, but like their routes on air, right? He pulled Van Jefferson aside, and you see him going like this, and Jefferson is doing his, showing how he was coming out. And then they get into 7-on-7. And later on in that period, what do? They connect on the exact thing that they were talking about. So that's the leadership, right? Being a rookie, going to a veteran receiver like Van Jefferson and redirecting and getting on the same page. Those are the things you look for.
So that's Teron Davenport on the 615 Sessions podcast, and that's what you're looking for from Cam, right? You're trying to see the growth, the progress, how he gels with the rest of the football team at this point in time. And that is a huge step because, Luke, for those of you who listen to the radio show, Lucas and I talked about this, and we had Josh Pate, who covers the world of college football expertly, on the show, and he told us all kind of stories from the 48 hours that Cam Ward was on campus at Miami. And the way that he basically took over the program, the way that it went full field general, right? He's starting to do all these different things, barking out orders, getting guys in position, taking the thing over in ways that are, pretty uncommon for a player who just arrived, even if it's the quarterback position, but not doing so in a, forgive my French, but in an asshole kind of way, doing so in a way that commands respect. And Lucas had brought it up on the radio show, us talking about the idea, well, is he going to be able to, is that so easily translated at the NFL level where guys are, 5 to 10 year vets in certain situations? Titans have a young roster, so maybe not as much heavy lifting to do there, maybe not as many people to be deferential to, because I believe the average age of the Titans roster might be sub 25 at this point in time for all the turnover that they've had in the last couple of years, with a few old heads running around, Calvin Ridley, who we'll get to here in just a second. But Lucas brought it up, well, is he going to be able to so seamlessly do that? And my whole thing was, as long as that's who he authentically is, then that's all that matters at the end of the day. And it seems that in the early goings, right, as we work our way through the offseason program, that he is doing exactly what has given him success the entire way through, that he is being authentic and true to himself, which is that he has these leadership qualities. It's not forced, right? That was a question with Jeff, for example, who's on the graphic, with Levis. Are they authentically going to be somebody or a collection of individuals that are capable of guiding this team forward? And while I do think that both of them brought things to the table that are necessary to the leadership component of a football team, I don't think that they authentically, had the kind of juice that they need to have to get this thing moving in the right direction. Now, if Cam Ward doesn't produce, then the credibility falls off a cliff, right? Will Levis can be a leader until he gets on the football field, and you see all the different issues that he caused, and it's tough for the locker room to look around and be like, no, that guy is the guy that we trust. That guy is the guy that we're moving forward with because he's out there balling, and then, the rest of it falls in line. Derrick Henry, not an overwhelmingly vocal leader. I've talked about this before. Harold Landry, guys like that, but they lead by example. They lead with their play and then how they prepare themselves for competition each and every week. Cam Ward has the full package of the off-the-field things, and now the question becomes, okay, is he going to be able to translate that to on the field? Of course, we'll have to wait some time to see, but the early returns in practice are pretty exciting. The next question that we're going to ask, Ross, if you throw the prompt up on the screen for me on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, is this: which second-year player jump would help the Titans most? Let me know in the comment section. Ross will throw a few, easy for me to say, of your comments up on the screen for me to read as we, if you're just now joining us, broadcasting at the Nashville Super Speedway out here in Lebanon. They were very kind to invite me out here. It's an awesome experience. We got all access passes, so I may make my way down to Victory Lane at some point. Got some cool. I'm going to get fined all over the place on the radio show this week because Jelly Roll had me do the walkout of the tunnel with him at the rodeo on Friday night, and now we're all access at the Nashville Super Speedway event. So I'm going to be super 1% and super unbearable all week long, but that's okay. We're going to have a good time with it. Which second-year player stands to benefit the most at this point in time? Richie says Tavondre Sweat heading into year two, or that would most benefit the Titans. Latham is a submission. A lot of Latham. In fact, JC and Tajay are here. I haven't run into them in person yet, but I saw that they were sitting in the, it looks like the press box of the box. So caught up with Sweat and Jeff at the Jelly Roll concert, and we'll see if I can't make my way into the upper what do you call it? The upper deck of the press box, which is really cool here at the Nashville Super Speedway. First NASCAR race I've ever been to. Really good time. Curtis says, hell, hopefully Gray, talking about Cedric Gray, the off-ball linebacker. Well, I don't know, right? Cody Barton is a viable commodity who's going to be your starting off-ball linebacker. Jarvis Brownlee Jr. from Brantley Cobb. And we'll pivot there because Brownlee is someone who I'm not sure what his role is unless there's an issue with L'Jarius Sneed that we don't, that would affect his availability, right? L'Jarius Sneed, it's not a health situation at this point in time, though he is returning from injury. It's a potential grand jury indictment hanging over his head from that February lawsuit and a December incident where the allegations are that either he or his assistant were involved in allegedly shooting at a bystander. I don't know what the connection between the alleged, between Sneed, his assistant, and the alleged victim are at this point in time. There's also allegations that Sneed and his mother contacted the victim to try and get them to not press charges, which of course I can't imagine would work more often than not, unless you're trying to buy them out or bribe them out. And if you stand to make more money in the lawsuit, then maybe that's not appealing either. But either way, Sneed with some questionable, at least putting himself in a questionable situation, even if he gets clear of the legal proceedings. Like, what are you doing in the middle of all that? Mike McCown says Levis, so we can get a good trade for him. Levis is not a second-year player, so he does not factor into this situation. So I'm gonna take a different tact with this, because second-year players to me also include free agents who are heading into their second year with the team. And the second-year player on the Tennessee Titans that I'm going to go with is going to be Calvin Ridley. This was Calvin Ridley last weekend at his football camp, talking about Cam Ward and a variety of other subjects with assembled reporters.
Cam is, to me, he's a dog, man. He's confident. That's my thing, man. He's confident. Like, that's the biggest thing. Coming in the league, going anything. If you confident, and it's not like it's like a humble confidence. He just kind of knows, like, you can play. That's what you want. You want somebody that know they can play. He can make the throws. He's smart. He's not afraid of anybody. He's ready to take it on, and I'm excited for him. You got to keep throwing. It's gonna be good. He throws great time. His time is up to date. I don't think it's gonna be a problem. Right now, we're just bonding to be friends, brothers, but we're working at the same time. But we're becoming more as brothers right now. We're getting there too. We're good. We're hanging out really good.
Is this OTA experience the most competitive you've been a part of?
This is part of, I'm gonna say this. And they've been, you said they was laughing at us, but this is part of the hardest OTAs I've been in as a player, personally. Like, we've been working real hard, man. I promise you.
And how about your locker? Did you get moved also?
Yeah, I got
part of the...
Yeah, that is.
Oh, man, you lost the prime real estate.
Yeah, I liked it. My locker was right by the door. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
But nah, I'm on the other side. I probably would wear. I guess I'm where Jeff and them used to sit at. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
I'm on that side. Sit next to Cush, Cam Ward, Tony, Sneed. I'm in that area.
So that's Calvin Ridley at his camp last week, talking about Cam, talking about the new offseason, the hardest OTAs he's ever been a part of, apparently. And, I respect Calvin's approach and his professionalism always, but he's a second-year player who stands to benefit substantially from Cam Ward's presence. Curtis says you can tell that Ridley likes Cam already. It's all, and yes, everything that we've heard about the dynamic, Ridley has opened his home to Cam Ward. He was FaceTiming Cam Ward prior to even being drafted by the Tennessee Titans, I think around the pro day. So Calvin has done a really, really good job in the outreach department and fostering that relationship. But, we will see, right? Vibes were high last year prior to all the shit going down. And it's not, it's not to take anything away from that or to downplay any optimism, because you should be optimistic. Calvin should be optimistic. Hell, you watch Cam and Levis out there on the field, there is a substantial difference, at least in the open practices that we've been able to see, on the way that these two players operate and what they bring to the table. Now, game action, though, Levis was fine last year in practices, and he was an A+ student, according to the coaching staff, both privately and publicly, as far as the meeting rooms were concerned. And then they just didn't know what to do with him when he does the major malfunction things on the field. Now, there's no concern about that with Cam. That's never been an issue in his game. Levis had that in college. So there's no issue in making, throwing those hypotheticals out. When there is a proven track record of success. Cam Ward was an infinitely more successful college quarterback than was Will Levis during his time at both Penn State and Kentucky versus Incarnate Word, Wazoo, and then, of course, Miami, where he really, really broke through. But it's good to see that dynamic, bearing dividends already. Calvin, for what it's worth, when we've been out there at practice, is the only wide receiver that does individual work solely with the quarterbacks when the rest of the wide receivers are participating. Now, had Lockett been out there the day that we were open, he was not, for what it was worth. He's at the building, but not out there participating at practice just yet. I'm sure Lockett would have been the same because he's older than Calvin, as a matter of fact. I think he's 33 or will be 33. So it's not like they're going to have Lockett and Calvin out there doing special team stuff like DK and Iamaner and all these other young dudes who are trying, Restrepo, all these other young dudes who are trying to make a name for themselves there. But it is a great sign of progress that way, and good to see Calvin Ridley, really doing his part to make sure that relationship works. We'll wrap things up. I know the graphic looks different, but since we're doing these things remote and I didn't give Ross the necessary tools to succeed here, it is Thursday's graphic, but it is a Sunday, so we're going to do the best thing that you saw on the internet this weekend: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Sunday Fun Day. You give me your answer in the comment section. I'll read a few of them, and I will give you mine. In fact, I'll queue up mine right now since I'm at the NASCAR race and it's been going on all weekend. Bert, apparently in route to mailing it in because he dumped prime time on Ross earlier this afternoon. Apparently, Bert has pulled something from the NASCAR events this weekend that's worth watching. Let's see. Okay, it's literally just cars on a track. Well done by Robert. That sounds about right. Speaks up to the standard. Now that does not do justice to the actual event. It sounds like they may be on a bit of a pause, or I'm not sure the rules and regulations of NASCAR, but the cars aren't currently. Doesn't sound like they're running at top speed right now. So I don't know if there's a penalty situation, a wreck, or what's going on in the actual race. Maybe some of you are watching as I'm sitting here literally in the owner's parking lot. In my car doing prime time before I head back out to the race. But it's been a really cool weekend, just a kick-ass weekend of things to do in Nashville. I had a full plate with, we did Margarita Fest on Friday. We did the Jelly Roll concert. I didn't go to the actual rodeo. I just went to see Jelly and sneak below deck to hang out. And he treated your boy right. We appreciate all the things that Jelly Roll does to support the things that we're doing around here, and just genuinely, a diehard Middle Tennessean and Nashvilleian and a Titans fan. He was playing Gillette. He played Gillette yesterday, as a matter of fact, and he got done on the plane, or got done at the rodeo on Friday night. Walked right out the tunnel, said his goodbyes, jumped on a plane, flew to Gillette Stadium, and he said, the one thing that I do not do at any other stadium is I will not wear other NFL gear. I'll only wear Titans gear. So he's one of you. For sure, and I know a lot of y'all have a lot of love for Jelly that way. And then you've got the NASCAR event all weekend long. The rodeo I thought was kick-ass. It sounds like the concerts were great. The events were awesome. Thunder versus Pacers in the NBA Finals. That's right. The Knicks can suck it. Sirs in 6. It was always Sirs in 6. Eat it, Brunson and Cat and the rest of you bums. Take your asses back to New York. In 49 other states, it's just basketball. But in the great state of Indiana, baby, it just means more. We love to see it. Thanks for bringing that up. That was my excitement from the weekend. A big exciting weekend. Looking back to getting into the swing of things, the whole crew will be back for the radio show tomorrow. Maybe Ross will even show up too, since he's been grifting off of us the rest of the time that we've been there. And we'll look forward to having all of you guys with us tomorrow from 10 to 1 on 104.5 The Zone. Crazy results for Vanderbilt. Crazy results for Tennessee and softball. It's just been a batshit sports weekend. And just quickly, since we're doing these things remote, so we didn't go through all the pomp and circumstances, a big thanks to all the sponsors who make the Primetime Show possible. Two Rivers Ford, they gave me sugar. You can get your car at the South's most trusted Ford dealer with employee pricing for everyone, as a matter of fact. TwoRiversFord.com for more info. TrueMat Fitness in the Gulch, TrueMatFitness.com for your first workout free, and the wonderful people at VIP Play, where the world comes to play. Promo code ATOZTN. Terms and conditions do apply. Must be 21 plus and in the state of Tennessee. To bet gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Thank you guys for doing this remote version of Primetime with us. Hope the video stream held up, because if it didn't, I don't know any better. And I do appreciate Ross. I don't say nice things to Ross or Jackson or Bert or any of them, because they don't usually do very well. But they did a good job tonight. Ross did a good job tonight, so we do appreciate Ross making this work.
Thank you.
Well, get your big ass head off my screen. You don't got to show up just when somebody says something nice about you.
Would it kill you to do that more often? Would it kill you?
Would it kill you to be better at your job? See, you have to ruin it. Get off the screen. You don't belong there. This is why you can't be nice to them. They're like mushrooms. You got to keep them in the dark and feed them shit. All right. See you guys tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. on 104.5.
There's a very low percentage of this that is smiles and glory holes.